Welcome back to The Truth is Viral. My name is Bob Powell, and today we're going to discuss the double tap. Yeah, the double tap is very important because... Oh, hold on a second. Hello? Oh, yeah, actually I did. I put in a request like 2 years ago. She's ready now? Okay, cool. It's Hillary Clinton. All right, I'll stand by. Hey, Secretary Clinton, how you doing? My name is Bob Powell. I publish a news program called The Truth is Viral, and I'm glad that you agreed to this interview today, and thank you for your promise to be absolutely truthful. Would it be okay if I put you on speakerphone? Okay. Okay, Secretary Clinton, are you ready? Okay, before we start, I know your investigators looked into my background before they would allow you to do this interview. Do you mind if I asked you what it was that they told you about me? Yeah, okay. Flattery is going to get you nowhere, Madam Secretary. Just thought I'd mention that. I'm not one of the lamestream media stooges that you can influence with power, position, or money. So let's get right to this interview, shall we? For my first question, I'd like to ask why you think it is that more than 2/3 of the American people believe that you're dishonest. I'm a liar! Yeah, I'm a liar! Okay, well, thank you for that refreshing bit of honesty. Now, can you tell my viewers what it was that you were doing for the entire 11 hours that you spent testifying in front of the Congressional Benghazi Committee? And what were you thinking as you were being grilled? It's getting hot in here. And what was Congressman Gowdy's response? You can't hide your lying eyes. For the moment, it looks like avoiding responsibility for your actions is a possibility, especially if you should become elected president. What do you have to say to the American people about that? You've been hit by a smooth criminal. You refused dozens of requests from Libyan Ambassador Christopher Stevens for extra security in the year leading up to the deaths of 4 Americans, including the ambassador, when the American consulate was overrun in Benghazi. Did you at least give him any advice before you had him arrange weapons transfers from Gaddafi's armories to the ISIS terrorists that you've been supplying in Syria? You know where you are! You're in the jungle, baby! You're gonna die! Hilly? I can call you Hilly, right? It appears to me that whenever you speak to the press, you tend to brush aside the questions about your many scandals. Now, why is that? Ooh, I love to dance a little sidestep. Overall, what do you think about the Benghazi and email investigations that have kept you tied up for more than 2 years? If you were to be elected president, would you continue to lie to the American people every time you opened your filthy sewer? You ain't seen nothing yet. And what do you blame for the fact that you appear to be a pathological liar? Secretary Clinton, I'm going to hold you to your promise to be honest, and I refuse to let you lay the blame on the Motor City Madman. What's the real reason that you lie constantly? Speaking of the devil, it's been a well-known fact that George Soros, a man who's been financing your campaign and pulling your strings, has given hundreds of millions of dollars to the Black Lives Matter terrorist group. When you see the riots in American cities that your benefactor has funded, what runs through your mind? And when you met privately with the Congressional Black Caucus and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, who do you tell them that you're working for? Before you talked to the FBI about your emails, your attorney Cheryl Mills took an immunity deal and was still allowed to sit in on that unrecorded interview with the FBI. For the record, what did Cheryl Mills tell you? Don't worry, be happy, don't worry, be happy now. And during the interview, you claimed that you could not remember important facts and events 40 separate times. Why do you think you have such a hard time remembering these things? Because I got high, because I got high, because I got high. Regardless, the evidence against you is overwhelming. That and the fact that Attorney General Loretta Lynch met privately with your husband aboard your private jet has many people thinking that FBI Director James Comey was either paid off or threatened. What's the real reason that you got out of that interview without wearing handcuffs? What did you say to the FBI Director? Bitch, I'ma kill you. You don't wanna fuck with me. Dang, that's brutal. You know, that photograph of you and Barack Obama sitting around a table watching Navy SEALs kill Osama bin Laden has been called staged. What were you and the president really doing when the SEALs were attacking bin Laden's compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan?
Driving that train, pound cocaine.
The list of bodies connected to you and former President Clinton is really quite long. You've been accused of killing scores of people, from Vince Foster to John F. Kennedy Jr. and DNC email whistleblower Seth Rich. Doesn't it bother you to have that much blood on your hands? One name on your Deadpool list really disturbs me. Buddy, the dog that you got as a puppy while you lived in the White House, was mysteriously run over by a car on January 2nd, 2002, after he unearthed human remains at your home in Chappaqua, New York. Now, I can understand killing your enemy, Secretary Clinton. It's evil, but I can understand it. What I can't understand is why you would have a beloved member of your own family whacked. Did you at least warn him? And if so, what did you say?
Dead puppies aren't much fun.
Well, that's pretty sick. What is it that you find most satisfying after the deaths of literally scores of your close associates?
The sound of silence.
Why do you think that you've been able to get away with what can only be described as a serial killing spree?
I've got the power!
Okay, let's turn to some more personal issues for a moment. If your husband Bill were to describe your relationship, what would he say?
She's just a devil woman with evil on her mind. Beware the devil woman, she's gonna get you.
How about him? Is he honest about his sexual perversions? What does he tell you when he wants to go out philandering?
Lord, take me downtown. I'm just looking for some touch.
You know, Secretary Clinton, many feminists just don't like men. In fact, Sally Miller, who wrote a book about her affair with your husband Bill, said that you experimented sexually with women in college. Now, despite the fact that you had publicly disparaged Monica Lewinsky, the intern your husband had sexual relationships with and then lied about, what did you really think about her? One of the stories floating around the internet, an interview with John Lennon's widow Yoko Ono, stated that, and I quote, "We had a brief romantic fling when I lived with John in Manhattan and Hillary was studying at Yale." Is that true, Madam Secretary? When you lay down to sleep at night, knowing that the truth about your crimes is going to come out eventually, what's your greatest fear? Mrs. Clinton, there are no such things as werewolves. You want to take another stab at that question? What scares you at night when you close your eyes?
Cows with guns.
Seriously, Secretary Clinton, you promised that you'd be honest. Now, what thought keeps you awake at night?
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the happy home with trees and flowers and chirping birds and basket weavers who sit and smile and twiddle their thumbs and toes, and they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
I can understand that. I can imagine that the thought of you being executed for treason has to be a nightmare for you. Do you have a way of dealing with that stress?
One bourbon, one scotch, one beer.
Is alcohol the only crutch that you use to make it from one day to the next? What other substances do you abuse regularly?
Oxycontin, Xanax, bars, Percocets, and Loratab. Values, morphine, patches, ecstasy, and it's all up for grabs.
When you get that high, I know you've got a serious case of munchies. So what's your favorite snack food?
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, eat them up, yum.
Okay, so you're good with being so heavily medicated that you eat fish heads. Forget what room you're in and have trouble walking to your limo. What about the country that you might lead? Aren't you being a little bit selfish? As a young defense lawyer, you once got a man who had raped a 12-year-old girl into a coma off with time served by suppressing evidence, smearing the child by stating she had a thing for older men and asked for it. You took money from Islamic regimes that imprison and kill gays, yet now you portray yourself as a defender of women and the LGBTQ community. What do you have to say about that?
Isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
Mrs. Clinton, it's obvious to me by now that you are literally a malignant narcissist, a pathological psychopath who will say and do anything to be the first woman president of the United States.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Because you're a freak show, lady. That's why. Now let's get back to the interview. What is it that you tell people when you're asking for their vote? What is going to be your main talking point going forward?
You may be right,
Crazy is a given, Madam Secretary, but I'd like to know what it is that you think is your greatest qualification to be President of the United States.
Cause of my hump, 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 my lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Excuse me. Secretary Clinton, if Donald Trump wins the presidency, you'll undoubtedly be arrested and tried for treason and espionage. What are you going to do?
Just as fast as I can.
Where will you go?
We gonna rock down to Electric Avenue.
And where's that? Actually, Secretary Clinton, I think the entire Western Hemisphere is going to be pretty hot for you for the rest of your natural life. Got any other ideas?
I think I'm going to Kathmandu. That's really, really where I'm going to.
Even if you do manage to escape justice after this life is over, you have to think about the afterlife. Do you have any idea what's going to happen to you? You know, you are without a doubt one of the most evil women it's ever been my displeasure to interview. Now, one last question. If you could go back in time to visit your younger self, to warn her of the corrupt shell of a human being that you've become, what would you say? Okay, Secretary Clinton, before I close out this interview, is there a last word that you'd like to say?
You ain't getting shit. No, you ain't getting dick.
You dick from me and Ma. Yeah, how do you like that?
For Christmas.
You know, Ma.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm good with that. I'm pretty sure any present from you would probably tick. So, yeah, good luck on your life, and hope to see you in jail sometime. Adios. So, we were talking about the double tap. I hope that you enjoyed that interview with Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State and Democratic candidate for the President of the United States. I know I had fun with it. My name is Bob Powell. You've been watching The Truth is Viral. And as always, God bless, Semper Fi, and hoorah.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter at The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.
Smack runner, your game is through. Smack runner, I'm talking to you.